Welcome to Make Pods Great Again. I'm your host, John Woolley, content creator for the Instagram page Make Wads Great Again. Welcome back. I am here with Niki. What is going on?
Oh, not too much. How you doing?
I'm tired, man.
Yeah, it's late.
It is late here. It's 9:30. It's like freaking an hour past my bedtime. I'm 49 years old. I should have had my early bird special at like 4:30 and then bed by 8:30.
Where's your like warm glass of milk for the evening?
I'm trying to be a good boy. I'm having spring water. It's
Wow.
refreshing. It's like, oh, this is what melted ice tastes like without bourbon in it. It's so weird.
Amazing. I guess that's decent for, like 9:30 on a Thursday night.
You know what? I have all the same problems that every other human out there does. I know that's shocking because I seem perfect, but I'm
You
not.
do.
And
Stop. No.
I know. And so I've been ever since we got back from Baltimore. I decided I was going to, live a healthier life, and
Mm-hmm.
I've stuck to it. So I got John David got me hooked on that MyFitnessPal. And so
Mm-hmm.
I started tracking my food, and it's addicting, like really addicting when you really start tracking and realizing what crap you're putting in your body. So
Totally.
I've gotten really good at it, and I dropped a couple of pounds, but I know I'm in a calorie deficit, like I know I am, and I'm positive. Before anybody starts messaging me and giving me all their nutritional bullshit, like I know I am, right? And but I felt like I'd like kind of plateaued. I just like my weight wasn't moving at all, and it occurred to me, I'm like, man, I think I'm dehydrated, which means I'm likely retaining water.
Mm-hmm.
And so so the last couple of days I've been just guzzling spring water, like just
Nice. Is it
and
helping?
yes, like right out of the gate. I mean, it's helping me
Awesome.
spend a lot of time in the bathroom, which is
Yeah,
awesome. Like,
that's a thing. Yeah, totally.
so that's exciting. But
Yeah, I usually realize like probably my like third or fourth coffee in, at like 2 or 3 in the afternoon that I hadn't had any water yet at all. I'm so bad at that shit.
you had coffee water, that counts. Coffee
That
water
totally counts.
counts.
Well, if that counts, then I'm hella hydrated.
Yes, coffee
Yeah.
water counts. But yeah, so I'm hitting spring water, and big props to Under Armour, man. I mean, this is not an ad. They didn't pay us to use this thing, but this is a good app,
Nobody
man.
pays us to do this shit.
I know, but it's a really good app, and not
Yeah.
only is it really handy, but you can like everything's in it. Like I bought some sushi tonight from Whole Foods,
Hmm.
and I just typed it in, and boom, popped right up.
I love
All
that.
all the macros preloaded,
I
calories
love that.
preloaded. I'm like, oh, this is the shit, man. This is awesome.
I like the scanner when you can like scan the barcode on something and it pops in.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's great. It's certainly, like, this isn't a nutritional episode for whatever that's worth, but it certainly has forced me now to like rethink my choices. Um,
Totally.
and what it does make you do, which is really weird. Like, so my daughters are here tonight, and they got some cookies. They wanted cookies, and I wouldn't eat them because I can't scan them in. I'm like, nope, no cookies for me. I can't scan them.
I'm all set. I'm all set.
Yep,
Done on the macros. Don't want.
yeah, I'm at the perfect number, man. Don't screw up my macros. So
Yep. Yeah, you can't unlearn that shit. That's the thing. Like once you figure out what makes sense for you and your diet and what your body needs, you can't like now, I mean, don't get me wrong, like I stray from macros plenty, but like know exactly what I'm doing when I have a donut and it's like, ugh, damn it.
oh, but donuts are so good.
I know, worth it.
They are so good.
Anyway.
Anyway, yeah, no nutrition talk, but yeah, it's a good app. So any of you guys need to track your food and drink more water, try MyFitnessPal. It's kind of cool. So CrossFit news. We'll do the news tonight.
Yeah,
What's
there's a lot going on right now.
what's going on? I haven't heard anything. Kidding.
Oh,
What's
well, let
happening?
me tell you. Well, I think the most exciting thing that I've heard recently is about the baby to be from Annie Thor's daughter and Freddie Agidius. I think that's huge news in our world. It's a big shift. She's definitely one of the original queens of CrossFit and stood on the podium from the very beginning multiple times. And, such a figurehead for us in the sport, and I think for women in the sport specifically. So it's really cool to see her entering into this next sort of phase of life. And I'm excited already to see like what comes from that. What kind of mom is she what kind of pregnant athlete is she going to be? What kind of mom is she going to be? Is she going to come back to the sport? Is she not? I don't think it makes me less interested either way. Like I'm just excited for them, and I think it's really cool, and it's cool that she shared that with everyone on social media, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens there. Also, I think it's super interesting that I think it was some point last year, she was talking about how one of her sponsorships, I think it was with Noon,
Mhm.
was particularly supportive of her as an athlete being on their roster, regardless of whether or not she left the sport to pursue a family. And that was like a pioneering move, which seems so stupid to say out loud.
Pioneering
Um,
move to give women off to have a baby. What are you thinking?
Unbelievable. Or to just like even continue to keep them in their jobs and their roles if they're going to have
Right.
kids. Like, I don't even know where to begin. Like, there's not enough time in the world for me to go on this feminist rant, but like, it's ridiculous that that was such a big deal and was such big news, and that she had to advocate for herself in that way. Kudos to her sponsors who are doing that for her, and being right. But at the same time, like, there's plenty who aren't, and other athletes I know who have reached out to me, and I'm not sure if they're sharing their story yet, but who have told me the complete opposite, that when they ended up, making the decision to start a family or getting pregnant or anything like that, were dropped from sponsors. And that's just not, it's not right on any level. And, well, I already set myself up for my house to be burned down, isn't it? I'm
No,
sure
you're
some
fine.
people have rights. I don't know, but
Are
it's
these
just,
Canadian women?
oh, of
Let's
course, probably.
yes. Let's throw it out there.
I don't know. I mean, maybe there's an argument for companies who are like, we need active athletes. Like if you were pregnant or if you had an injury or if you moved out of state. I don't know. I don't know what the arguments are. So in fairness, I have not been a good journalist. I have not asked for both sides of this argument. I just am glad to see Annie in a good spot moving forward.
Yeah, no, I agree. I bet Reebok sponsors her baby. What do you think?
I hope there's baby nanos for it.
I hope so.
Him or her.
Actually, they won't be baby nanos. They'll actually be Matt Frazier's nanos if they can't give him
Oh, wah,
because they
wah.
can't give it to him because he's sponsored by Nike. But
Do you think it'll be Ginger Baby?
I bet that baby's already fitter than me.
Oh my God, definitely.
That baby can do a little embryo muscle up right now.
It's going to be like the most beautiful porcelain skin, gorgeous buff
Oh, just
abs baby.
this baby's going to come out doing curls. It's going to bench press the doctor. Swear to God, it will be a gorgeous baby. There's no doubt.
Seriously.
I'm glad she announced it because I have a personal rule: you don't ever ask a woman if she's pregnant ever.
It's fair, totally fair.
A woman could literally be crowning, and I could be in the delivery room, and I'm not going to ask until she tells me. Swear to God,
Okay.
You don't ask.
You're a gentleman.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all that is.
There's nothing worse than going, "What do you do?" And she's like, "No, I'm just fat."
Oh, this is my food, baby.
This is the burrito I had today at Chipotle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, please don't ask again.
To be fair, I've had a few Chipotle babies, so
yeah, same girl, same.
I can't judge someone for that. That's exciting for her. She seems like we've been like a little baby fever in CrossFit lately.
A little bit, yeah.
Mackenzie Riley's pregnant. She's
That's
got one
right.
coming, and she's kind of far along. I've seen the pictures she was doing. I normally don't get nervous. Like I kind of like the pictures of the women working out because I think it sends a real positive message. But she had one the other day, and Mackenzie's a beast. Like I love her so much. She's so strong.
Yeah.
Total sweetheart. And she was doing what was she doing? Like dumbbell snatches. And man, or kettlebell swings one. I think it was dumbbell snatches. Anyway, that thing's like coming right past her belly, and I'm like sitting there, like, oh, it's making me nervous. I was like getting
so close.
I was getting anxiety, and I know she's a professional, and she's like strong as the day is long. So, but still, I was totally getting anxiety, and I don't know why I was because I lectured my mom for this the other day. My mom, I had posted a video of me lifting once, and I don't do that often, but I did
once.
And she goes, I wish you wouldn't do that because it makes me so nervous. You're going to drop that bar on your head. And I'm like, do you think I'd post a video of me dropping the bar on my head? And then I immediately thought, I'm watching this, like all of a sudden she's going to hit the baby like this is live, like I'm watching it on live TV.
Right.
Like, what the hell am I thinking?
Not likely.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. I think it's rad watching pregnant women continue to, stay healthy and work out. And every single situation is different and everyone's journey is so different. But I will say the majority of ladies that I know who have stuck with CrossFit throughout the majority of their pregnancies have had the best, easiest deliveries and have been able to bounce back. And when I say bounce back, I don't mean in a physical sense, not the way they look, but like be able to regain their aerobic capacity and their strength, and being that was their goal afterwards. So I'm excited to see how it goes for Annie.
Well, Kara Sanders bounced back. Holy
Ooh,
crap.
holy, she's back on the competition floor within like 4 months or something like that.
I think she was probably doing muscle ups in the delivery room.
Wild.
Swear to
Totally
God.
wild.
It is like crazy impressive how fast she came back. Like, I've got 2 kids. I watched, my ex-wife like coming back from pregnancy, and I think bounce back's the right term, because man, coming back from having a kid is hard. Like,
Yeah.
like I'm a dude, so I got no perspective on what that does to your body, but I saw it happen. Like
Yeah.
I was in the room when it happened, and I'm like, holy crap. Like,
Yeah. I'm
respect.
I'm like at that age right now where all my friends are starting to get pregnant or starting to think about, families, and I fall like deep into the rabbit hole sometimes, especially on Instagram. Really positive stories and great messages from women who are just like keeping it real. And I appreciate that, but I'm also mildly, just kidding, not mildly, super horrified. So terrifying.
Well, if you happen to talk to Annie, I've had a thing for her since I started CrossFit. So if something happens to Frederick, tell her I will love that baby as my own.
I'm so glad you volunteer
I
as
will.
tribute.
I volunteer as tribute. Oh, Annie's amazing. I am really
Awesome.
happy for them. I think that's really it's really
Yeah.
kind of an exciting thing. It'll be like a superstar baby.
Yeah, exactly. No
Like a
pressure, baby.
Yeah, like a royal. It'll be like a royal baby. You know it will. This is
Totally.
like It's just. I'm trying to think. Well, no, Kara was on the podium. I was thinking it was just the first podium winner that's had a baby, but Kara was on the podium. So
Yeah, and I always confuse. Does Becca Voigt have kids or Val
I
Vogel?
I don't know.
Ugh.
I don't keep up with the childbearing of all the athletes. I only know Kara because it's so recent. It's the
Yeah,
only
yeah.
reason I
No, of
know.
course. Of course. Yeah, and you're right, it's baby fever. I mean, Cassidy Vance McWhorter just announced that after a really long and difficult journey with IVF and infertility, that she and her wife are pregnant, which is awesome. Yeah, it's that time. I'm excited to see what the next like wave of CrossFit athletes looks like going to games. There's a bunch of young kids who are moving on up. There's a bunch of older ladies who are stepping away to have families who I know are going to be back on the competition floor, and I'm super excited to see that. Yeah, it's going to be cool.
Well, none of these babies are mine. Thank God. Knock on wood.
Good.
Knock on wood. You can't prove it, ladies. No one can prove it. Absolutely
Good
can't prove
Lord.
it. I know. I just feel the need to shout that out. I don't know why. It's just why. So we got a lot of stuff coming up. We've got you have Norway. I've got
I got
Wodapalooza.
Norway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When do you leave for Norway?
In just a couple days. In just a couple days. Logan's gonna come here, and then we're gonna go overseas together, which I'm so excited about. It's the little things in life where I like realize that for all of these events, these sanctionals and regionals and games and whatever, I always travel solo and then meet the media team out there. So just to have her on the flight with me is gonna be really fun.
Oh, that's awesome. How long's the flight?
It's only so overnight from Boston, we go to Iceland first, and then we have a quick layover before we go to Norway, just a couple hours from there. But it's like 5 hours overnight from Boston to Iceland. So, you get on the plane, pop a Dramamine, pass out. Easy peasy.
That is easy peasy.
I know.
I
And
can't
then you
sleep on
wake
a
up and
plane.
you're there. You can't? Oh my God.
No, I can't sleep on a plane. I can get drunk on a plane. I can't I can't sleep
Can you
on a
get
plane.
drunk and then pass out on a plane?
No, I got really drunk on a flight to LA one time. That was fun. And because I wanted to go to sleep, I couldn't. I was with this girl. She had anxiety. We got to the airport really early, it was like 6 a.m. or something. We pounded some vodkas and orange juice, like 2 of
Yeah.
them. And we get on the flight, and it's like a 5-hour flight from Cleveland
Oh,
to
yeah.
LA. So we get on the flight, and we've been on that flight for like 30 seconds. And I'm like, we'll take, 2 Tito's and orange juice. And so we pound one again. So now we're 3 drinks in, and they're big drinks. And then 5 minutes later, the woman comes by, and I'm like, can we get 2 more? And she looks at me. She goes, really? Just like that. She
Oh
totally
my
judged me.
God.
I'm like, yeah, really? It's 9:30. Come on.
Yeah, come
Let's go.
on.
Let's
Let's
make
go.
this happen. Yeah, it was good. We were
And you
wow.
still couldn't sleep?
No, couldn't sleep.
Damn.
Sobered up by the time I got there, though. So that was good.
Well, that's enough time.
Yeah.
For all the travel that I do, I hate flying. I fucking hate flying. But I'll take as much Dramamine as I need to not get sick because everything in the world makes me sick. Like everything, like cars, planes, trains, weird food, everything makes me sick. So I'll pound enough Dramamine to not get sick and also to pass the fuck out. It's like
Whatever
the
it
only
takes.
way I can deal with flying.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah.
So who are the big names at the Norway?
Yeah, so the Norwegian CrossFit Championship is not riddled with CrossFit Games athletes, not the way that other events are, like Wodapalooza, Granite Games, and I think that's part by design, right? So in two respects. In the first, they're really celebrating their local community. There's a whole bunch of different divisions. There's masters divisions. There's elite teams, but there's also community teams, and there are a whole bunch of events that people who are spectators can go to and participate in. It's being held in Gros, Norway, which is like 3 hours outside of Oslo, but it's a mountain town. So they're capitalizing on the area, and they're doing like skiing and snowboarding, and people can hit the slopes while they're there and participate on the floor in one way, shape, or form. So it's a little bit more localized about the community, or about the European community at large, at least. That's the one hand. On the other hand, they didn't have any special invitations. So they had an online qualifier, and anyone who wanted to participate had to do it. A lot of these other events will try to fill their rosters sort of after the fact, after a qualifier, with some invitations to big names in order to fill seats and drive traffic and attention. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So I'm not saying that one is right or one is wrong. I'm just saying that the reason why you're not going to see as many big names in a place like this is because that didn't happen. So if anyone wanted to participate, they had to do the online qualifier. That being said, there are a couple of people I think that you should look out for. On the men's side, on the elite men's side, Alexander Ellebro is a team athlete, and we've seen him over and over on European teams. He was in Dubai on Phil Hesketh's team, always does a really good job. Haven't seen him solo in a little bit, and he put up a monster snatch when we were in Dubai on the team side. So, and I don't know because it was in kilos, and I'm a stupid American, and I don't know the pounds, but it was like, holy shit, I can't believe that happened. So I'm excited to see him. I'm excited to see him solo as an individual. And then Griffin Roll is also going to be there, and that's another individual athlete we've seen overseas before. Saw him in Dubai, not this past year, but the year before. And we'll come back to him because there's actually some other CrossFit drama, some tea, if you will, that we'll get to after we talk about Norway, and we'll bring up Griffin again.
I do love some tea.
I know, right? Let me pull up the ladies.
We're going to get back to why you can't do kilos. Is it because you hate Canadians? Because
do they do kilos in Canada? Because I keep shooting myself in the foot here.
They absolutely do.
Are you sure?
Positive. Yes, they're on the metric system like the rest of the world.
Like the rest of the goddamn world.
Yes, the rest of the world does the metric system.
Damn.
It's ridiculous.
All
I
right.
don't know what their problem is.
They're so silly. All right, I'm going to talk about the ladies here. So for the elite ladies in Norway, I think always keep an eye out for Gabby Magawa. She is an incredible athlete. We've been watching her ever since she was a teen athlete at Games, really started making a name for herself, I would say, within the last 2 seasons. And this past December in Dubai was hanging with the big girls. And I mean in a way that I've never seen her hang before, because we've always known she's been a really, really great endurance athlete. She won the 333 like it was no big deal. She's always ahead in the big runs that we see, the desert run, the beach runs, sand runs, all those things. But she put up some huge numbers in the clean and jerk, and it was really impressive. And she's just a kid. So, she was a kid when she was like in the 16, 17-year-old division. And now she's barely 21. I would be impressed. So I would definitely keep an eye on her. Haley Murillo is a great athlete who we've seen come out of the States, and she's heading overseas for Norway as well. Really, really sweet girl and really badass. For a while, she was working as like a professional stunt double. That's so baller. I think that's so cool. And there's a number of European athletes who have been making names for themselves. I'm going to butcher this name. It sucks. Rebecca Vitsin, who is out of CrossFit.
Perfect.
Do you think that was it?
Perfect. Yes.
She was on the CrossFit Butchers Lab team for a few seasons. And so again, another team athlete who we've seen do really well in the past. I'm excited to see as a solo athlete over in Norway. It's going to be cool. It's going to be really neat.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think we were talking about, we get one night to like hang out in Oslo before we go out to Gol. and trying to make a list of like all the things that I want to do in 24 hours in Oslo. And I was chatting with the guys over there, and I was like, I want to like pet a white reindeer, and I want to like see the aurora borealis. And they were all like, yeah, that's not like an Oslo thing to do. That's like a like northern in the middle of nowhere. That would be like if you landed in New York and you were like, yeah, I want to like hike the Appalachian Trail because I'm in the US. They'd be like,
Well,
no, what are you doing?
well, it sounds like a fun trip. I'm jealous. I wish I was going to be there. I will say this is where I kind of miss regionals a little bit. Like you named all those names, and I didn't know as many of them as I would have liked to. And in the days in regionals when CrossFit did a really good job of updating the leaderboard,
Yeah.
I would learn the names, and now I don't know the names. It makes me sad.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing is like once the actual CrossFit Games roster is set and that includes the national champions, then it's a cool opportunity to learn the names and all of them, right? Because they're be coming from all over, even outside of sanctionals. So
I just feel like I'm still stuck in the era. I'm like, back in my day, we had Froning. It's like
yeah.
I've got the small group of names that you still remember from the good old days. We got all these young whippersnappers coming up.
No.
All these 16-year-old girls that can lift 100 kilos more than me.
Oh, totally.
That's
How
200,
many? I don't know.
220
Yeah,
pounds,
I
by the
was
way.
gonna say I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Well,
I was trying to make you do the math.
I'll just carry a calculator with me everywhere I go.
So have you bought your helmet with the horn jet?
No, I thought you got that when you got there.
The Viking. Yeah, I think when you
Yeah.
land, they give you
Okay,
the Viking hat.
they hand you one and they instantly take you to see the aurora borealis.
What are they going to give me when I land in Miami?
Um,
Herpes,
I
probably.
was just gonna say that. The clap.
Yes. I don't know. I guess that's all I can think you get that's all you get in Miami. I don't
Why
know.
did I go there instantly as well?
We both did. That was impressive.
I was like,
Wow. I don't know what that says about either of us.
You get like a cocktail and a stripper.
Yeah. I'm fine with that. It
Yeah,
sounds like
these are for you, sir.
that sounds like a good, sounds like a great event to me.
Yeah.
Here's
There's
your stripper.
so many big names that we can't even go through who to look out for in Wodapalooza because
Oh my God.
there's freaking stars on every corner, man.
I'm like eyeballing it. Alex Smith, Sarah Sigmund's daughter, Joanne Koski, Jessica Griffith, Amanda Barnhart, Adrian Mundweiler.
Everyone,
Yes.
every single athlete. And so many of them have already qualified. So it's like going to be the trip down the leaderboard to see who the hell actually ends up going to games, like from Rogue last year.
Well, that's what my guys are going. Saxon and Spencer are both competing, and that's like kind of what I'm. They Spencer's like one spot out in the open, and and Saxon's just got to straight up qualify somewhere. So I'm like looking at this list, going, well, even if they finish fourth or fifth, odds are pretty good. The top three have all already made the games. Well, I mean,
yeah.
You would think like, Noah Olson's there, so he's a great shot at the podium. Ben Smith's there. Patrick Vellner's there. Like, come on. Like, they've all got real shots at the podium, but they've all qualified. So
exactly. Is it going to be weird if one of them goes, but the other one doesn't for the twins? Like, are they weird about that, or are they just
it's happened every year? It's happened every year so far. I mean, Saxon's gone twice. Spencer's just missed a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
No, they're interesting. They have a really interesting dynamic. We'll have to have them on so they can talk about it.
Yeah.
Actually, we should have them separate. They're more fun separate.
Really?
Yeah, because they're such different personalities. But I'll give them a lot of credit. Like, they actually compete, like really compete against each other. So like in Brazil, I'm convinced one cost the other first place.
Yeah.
Last time, and they don't view it that way. They just, they know that happened, but they don't view it that way. They think, all right, you go out and compete and you do your best in every event. There's no gaming anything. Like I'm not going to give my brother first place simply because I could, give it
it's
away.
Probably the opposite.
Yeah, they're trying.
How siblings work.
Well, look, they work out together on a very consistent basis, so they know what the other one's capable of. But when they get in competition mode, I mean, they go after it. Scott's the same way. When they're all together, it's ridiculous. Totally.
And what were they feeding those boys growing up?
You know what? I walked into the gym the other day. I forget. I just went up there to ride the bike. That's all I wanted to do. Just want to get on the CG bike, mind my own effing business, put in 20 minutes work and go home. So I come walking in the gym. And first thing I see is Scott Panchak walking, literally doing like a 50-foot handstand walk, shirtless, of course, because no one wears the shirts. Yep. And then Saxon's there shirtless and Spencer's there shirtless. And they had a couple other guys who were like kind of teams level athletes, shirtless. and my dumpy ass comes walking in. They're like, all right, I feel like less of a man now.
Did you
Thanks,
take your
guys.
shirt off instantly?
Yeah, of course
Of
not.
course. Oh, damn
Yeah,
it.
no chance. No chance of that. So it's so humbling. And, they're also nice, but still, it's like, you see these guys up close, what they're doing, and it's really, really impressive, but it still just makes you feel like a mortal,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
know,
totally. Totally.
like I'm,
Constantly.
like I'm such a wuss. But so I don't know. We'll see how they do down there.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see Sarah Sickman's daughter compete. She's just been crushing everything she's been in. So I think this will be a fun time. And I've
I
honestly
think she's back. I think she's totally back from all her injuries, from her repeat ribs, from her back, from all that shit. She has been crushing. And I think her head is finally back in the game. And she's such a mental athlete. If she gets down on herself, and this is sort of a running theme, I feel like we've been talking about this recently, the athletes, they think just like we do, which is crazy. You don't expect it. But Sarah's definitely one of those athletes who over the years has gotten in her own way mentally. And I feel like she's found a way to conquer that so far this year. Don't want to jinx her. Obviously, there's still a lot left in the season, but man, she is fierce right now.
Yeah, she'll be fun to watch. I'm curious to see if she's peaking or peaked or just she's just in prime form. Like it's such a weird sport that way, and it's so
Yeah.
long to the games now. Like I'm struggling to know, are they all peaking or are they not? Like it's just weird. So
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And like, how do you peak for different times of the year when you're going to these events over and over? And remember, like, just because they're qualified doesn't mean that they're not there to like make a name for themselves or make money. Like, they have to eat too. Ain't nobody paying their way to get to these places. So
what
they
are the
have to
first
do
prizes in
well.
these sanctions? Do you know?
Oh shit. I don't know. You put me on the spot. It's
I don't
money.
know.
Some money.
Yeah,
Some are
I
bigger
don't
than
know.
others. Like I know that one of the Spanish ones, I think it was Madrid, has like a huge prize purse. Although Live and Loud ones have been pumping their prize purses up pretty well recently.
I just know last year I went to the Mac and it was like $5,000. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like first prize is $5,000. Like it almost cost me that to fly out there and stay in a hotel for four
Yeah,
days.
yeah. Some events are they pay out better than others, and I think that this year is definitely better than last year. Well, last year was our first year, so it was like testing the waters, and the repeat events are definitely pumping up their prize purses this year. But yeah, I mean, it varies, and you kind of have to factor that in if you're an athlete. Like, where do you go and when? What kind of money do you put up? What are your sponsors willing to do for you? I think we forget that, because they're celebrities to us, but to them, I mean, shit, this is work and it doesn't pay very
Yeah,
well
there's
unless
no
you have
there's
a
no
Nike
money.
deal, and there's only one or two people who do. So like, they're paying their own way to these events. Their sponsors don't cover everything. They have to do well or they don't make money. And even if they do well, sometimes they don't make that much money. Some of them own affiliates, but that's a fuckload of work in the background they do. And if they don't, then how are they paying for all the rest of their shit that they're doing? I mean, it's crazy to think.
I know there's not a lot of money in the sport.
No.
I'm hopeful that the sanctionals fix that having more events allows for bigger prize purses, more sponsors, like fingers
Yeah.
crossed, because I'd love to see the really good athletes be able to stay in it for a while. My fear is that it kind of levels off and some of the best athletes aren't able to stay in, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
So you're the pro at this. Here's the real question: how do
Okay.
you keep your fitness up when you're traveling? Like when you do this, like you're going to Norway. Like
Hmm.
where do you work out? How do you find the time while you're doing all this, or do you
Yeah.
just become a big fat ass and just eat all the food, all the travel food?
Yep, I do a little bit of both. It's hard, honestly, because it's hard just because we work such long days. Like when we have a live broadcast, it is like a 12, 14-hour day. You get there early, you have a lot of pre-pro and prep. You're like constantly on for the entire day for all of the events, for all the different categories of athletes that are out there. And then by the time the day wraps, like just from being on and on your feet and going, you're fucking exhausted. So I do a little bit of both. I kind of turn into a fat piece of shit because I'm traveling and I'm tired and I want to just like hang out and experience the local food and like get drinks with my friends that I only see a few times a year that work with me on the media team. But also I try to not completely wallow in my own laziness. So a lot of times I think it's really fun when we travel, if we can have time to do so, drop into local gyms, because I always learn so much just from dropping in and seeing how other people coach and seeing how other people handle different situations in class that I can take back to my own coaching. Whenever we're traveling, not for work, like when I'm on vacation, I always want to drop in just to pick up those pointers, and also to, I feel like I can eat and drink whatever I want. And Matt gets so annoyed with me. My husband is like, no, like, what, we're on vacation. What are you doing? We're not working out. And so it's always this fight that I can usually like convince him over the course of like a few days to let me go or come with me like once or twice, but not every day.
Right.
But what's cool is when we're at competitions, a lot of times we'll get to work out on the floor or like in the athlete warm-up area or something like that. So there's usually a few different gym setups that we'll have access to like after hours. And I don't know. I travel with like some light gear and tell myself I'm going to do workouts.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get the band back together when I'm in Wodapalooza and get John David and go hit a gym.
Oh, nice.
At least
Oh,
I'm gonna try to. I mean, we'll see what he's doing, but I can't believe he's not gonna want to work out while he's there. So
I'm so jealous.
I
That's
know
going to
you're
be
not gonna be
fun.
there,
I
so
know.
we'll just find some other dingy girl to come with us. I guess that's all we'll do.
Bummer. Some other
I
chick
know.
who sucks at rowing.
I know.
Wah, wah. I'm sure there'll be plenty of people there willing to work out with you. While you're in sunny, beautiful, warm Miami, and I'll be in like cold, freezing Norway.
Yeah, well, so actually a gym reached out to me and asked me to come work out there.
Oh,
So
cool.
I don't know. That'll be fun. Give me something to do. Got to stay a little fit because
Yeah.
otherwise I'm going to be doing a lot of nothing but watching people be fit. So,
It's motivation, if anything.
and drinking mojitos because I'm in Florida, like, or whatever the drink is. I don't know what the drink is in Miami. I'm guessing
That
it's
sounds
mojitos,
right.
but
That
yeah,
sounds totally right.
sounded like I knew what I was doing. But
100%, which should be the new title of this podcast.
I know, right? It really should be.
You want to hear some drums?
I do.
Some CrossFit drama. So I saw this today on the Rogue Invitational Instagram. I guess they posted the winners of the qualifiers, and it must have looked very different from what the leaderboard looked like yesterday when the competition officially closed. And the comments were, a lot of them were from elite athletes who were kind of calling Rogue out on not sending them any explanations on penalties that have been handed out. So the list that they posted today on their Instagram was different than the one from yesterday because a lot of people got hit with penalties. And I guess it changed up the leaderboard dramatically, or at least that's what it seems like from the comments. So a lot of the early comments from people like Street Horner and Tim Paulson were like, hey, like, what's going on here? I should have been on this list. Remember I was talking about Griffin Roll, I think he's CrossFit Thor on Instagram.
Yes.
There was a comment that said that he was second in the qualifier and then didn't even end up on the qualifying standings list that was posted today. So like I said, a lot of the early comments were basically like, hey, this is really harsh. What's going on here? Like, why did this even happen? Everyone is really confused. And then I noticed later on, Rogue went back and started posting sort of replies that basically said like, hey, everyone who was docked will get an email, or we're working on emails. And so then the issue, I think, ends up just being like, I think it would be more right maybe to reach out to the athletes first. Let them know what's going on before going public with all the information, because it's probably not wrong. It's just like it caused a lot of confusion, and confusion online ends up being like people talking shit, and it like gets out of hand, and then we talk about it on a podcast, blah, blah, blah. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, I wish. I mean, I don't know how Rogue did it. I really don't have any clue about how they ran
Yeah.
this qualifier. But I've said for a while now, I wish there was some sort of like central judging group that you could go to. Meaning, like they judge all the sanctionals, they judge all the online qualifiers. They're like the governing body. Maybe is the best way to think of it. So instead of these athletes having to go, man, Rogue is screwing me, they can go straight to the judges, right? Like they got a group they can go dispute to, and they like. A good example of this is NFL. Like you got the same group of NFL referees that do every single game. Do they get it all right? Absolutely not. But you know who they are. They have their own union. They've got their own reps. Like it takes it out of the hands of the people running the event. That's for
Mm-hmm.
me, that's the fear, is like if you've got the people running the event picking the judges, like at what point do athletes start going, well, you're only bringing in the top name athletes, or you gave that guy a
Mm.
break because he's a top break athlete, or you've docked him because he's so and so. Like, and I'm not saying they did
Mm.
that. I just think there's a lot of liability there for an event to have their own judges. But what the hell do I know? I just run a
Yeah,
podcast.
what an interesting idea. I really like that concept. I think the only reason why it's not likely to happen is because it just takes money. Like so many judges, and I have no idea how qualifiers work, but so many judges at the events themselves are volunteers, and they literally fly themselves. There's a core group of them that do a lot of these sanctionals, and they fly themselves around the world and they volunteer their time because this is something that they love to do. And we've never been able to get real like staff in order, not even for games. I mean, a huge number of games athletes, games judges rather, are like flow staff and seminar staff and people who you know and love. But a lot of them, especially for the age groups, are volunteers still, even at that level. So there's probably just not enough money floating around anywhere to start that kind of independent judging organization. But that's a really interesting thought.
Oh yeah, trust me, there's definitely not enough money to do it. It's just a great idea.
Yeah,
That's all.
totally, totally.
Yeah, it's just interesting though. I mean, I talked to Tim Paulson this afternoon briefly. He said he got docked major penalty for what was his term for
Was it deadlifts?
yeah, bad deadlifts. He goes didn't consistently meet the extension on his deadlifts. And so
But they ended up providing him that.
yeah, they told him,
There you go.
but Tim's a straight up guy, and he's kind of a workhorse, one of the strongest
Mm-hmm.
guys I've ever seen. And he's a coach, owns his own affiliate, like most of these guys. Like he's going, no, they were ugly, but they met the standard, and
Right. Yeah.
that's why I'd like to see like, some sort of system in place. But
Yeah.
you
Well,
know,
I'm glad he heard eventually because I'm telling you, like when I first texted you today and I was like, hey, we should look into this because like a lot of elite athletes are freaking out. It was because they hadn't been told anything. So they saw a leaderboard yesterday or when the competition closed and they saw their names on it in qualifying spot. And then today something completely different was posted. And there was no step in between. There was no like reaching out from anyone to be like, hey, just so you know, you got docked for shitty deadlifts. So you're not going to be on this list that we're going to post in an hour, whatever it is. I don't know. But I'm glad that they figured it out eventually. And they probably had a ton of athletes to reach out to. Again, I don't know how they end up doing it internally, but I'm glad that he eventually got whatever explanation they provided, whether or not he agreed with it. That's a different story.
The other thing for me, I think that would be kind of a good long-term play for CrossFit is a different way to let these guys qualify. So instead of, you bring in, 40 people from the open that get into the games and then they don't do anything again until August,
Mm-hmm.
maybe, you have a smaller number that actually qualify through the open and now you have to go qualify through sanctionals. But if you're in the top 100 in the open, you're qualified for every sanctional. You just have to pick,
Ooh.
right? So like, you can't tell me, like as an example, Fikowski took a big hit in the same penalty, and I get it, it's a sport, and if you miss a shot or whatever, you shouldn't, you should take your penalty. But come on, you can't tell me that the guys that beat him, just looking at the list of names, that he isn't one of the top 5 guys in that on that leaderboard,
Mm-hmm.
even if he's 20th. Like he just isn't.
Mm-hmm.
um so I don't know, it just seems like it'd be an easier way, and like to the point of the judging, like I kind of want to take out some of that. This online qualifier thing is so weird anyway. Like,
Mm.
you can do a workout more than once. It's, what's the camera angle look like? Like there's so many variables. I just like to take some of that out. And I think they might be able to do that by just saying, look, the open's the standard. It
Yeah.
kind of takes it back to what we were talking about, I think, on a previous podcast, where we said the one thing we really liked about regionals is all the workouts were the same for everyone.
Yeah.
So this would
Consistency.
achieve that. It would achieve that. Like everyone qualifies doing the same workouts. I mean, think about it. Like somebody could go win Wodapalooza, and now they qualified for the games, but the workouts that they did at Wodapalooza are definitively different than the West Coast Classic.
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe it's easier, maybe it's not. I don't know. I can't say, but if you're all qualifying through the open, because everybody's doing the same thing. It's just
Yeah. Yeah, I like it and I don't. Like I like the consistency like you said, but I also think that there's something to be said for the, like, I don't know, the autonomy that those events have to create their own systems. Like it opens up the opportunity to, I don't know, like not get hosed on just those open workouts. I mean, it's a long season and we're trying to qualify a lot of people from all over the world. So having different and multiple opportunities, I also can see the benefit. I see both.
Oh yeah. Well, you'd
Yeah.
still have that. You would still have the sanctionals doing different things. I just mean you'd have a bigger pool of people, qualifying for those sanctionals through the same workouts,
So they could
like,
do their own online qualifier, but also the top 100 from the open could go.
yeah. So you say top
Mm.
100 can pick any sanctional they want. Just go where you want to go, guys. And then you can still, all these events can still do their own online qualifier because you want, like, we always call them regionals athletes, the ones
Mm-hmm.
that aren't the top tier athletes. You want them to have the ability to compete and to, be in these competitions if they qualify. So
Yeah.
you would still do online qualifiers, but it just seems like a waste of time to have Fikowski do, to have to go back after being in the open. If he wants to now compete, have to go do all these online qualifiers when we know he's a top 5 athlete. We know it,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just weird to me,
I
but
hear what you're saying. I just feel like at the same time, there have been so many times where people have surprised us. People have like way weird holes in their game, you know? And if the qualifier for, I don't know, whatever, John Woolley sanctional, number one,
that sounds like a great
it's
sanctional
the
for me.
one. If
Yes.
the qualifier for that has deficit handstand push-ups in it, are we just going to assume that Laura Horvath is going to go, or have we seen that as a hole in her game previously? And so that might keep her out of it. Like there's sometimes really interesting things. Like maybe there's a hole in Brent's game that we just haven't seen yet, and it's exposed because there's a one event or one movement or something he can't do. Not to pick on Laura, I'm just throwing that out there as an example.
Well, the John Woolley sanctional online qualifier is going to be really easy.
Chug beer for time.
It's going to be, yeah, send it, funniest meme qualifies. It's going to be like jumping pull-ups.
I'm there. I'm
It's going to be
in.
great.
I'm gonna
Yes.
pull myself out of competition retirement for that.
The only scaled regional. It's going to be awesome.
I'm here for it.
People are going to love it. It's going to be
Oh
so
my
much fun.
God. So yeah, anyway, long story short is that was some drama today online, but I'm glad that Rogue seems to be sorting it out.
Well, I'm glad they're sorting it out because I'm going to Rogue and I'm excited to go.
Ooh, that'll
I
be a
know.
fun one.
I
So
love
many
Rogue.
studs.
I love Rogue Fitness. I love Columbus. It's 2 hours from here. It's going to be fun. Can't
So
wait.
cool.
Yep. So, all right. Well, you have a safe flight.
Thanks.
And
Thanks.
take all the Dramamine.
I will. Don't worry. I'm a
And
professional.
I seriously want a picture of you in a Viking hat. Like you got to work that out for me.
You got it. 100%. Standing underneath the Aurora with a white reindeer.
Take the podcasting gear. We need some interviews with the athletes, but have fun and be safe.
Thank you.
And then we'll catch up when you get back. So
okay.
To everyone listening, it's been a lot of fun tonight. We appreciate you guys being on, and we will catch up with you guys soon.